All 3 space elevator parts, one factory. It's going to be smart plating, versatile framework, and automated wiring, all from one convenient location, which is, I mean, kind of nearby. Oops, I just took a screenshot. We did go ahead and set up we picked the location last time, and then in between the episodes I went ahead and I set up a platform that I'll meet you guys on over there in a little bit. But before we go, it's good to see you guys again. Thank you guys for coming back for another episode of my Satisfactory playthrough. Not a ton has happened in between the episodes other than I built the platform that we're going to be using, and I also threw together a handful of blueprints that we're going to be making use of today. If you want to be building along, you can go ahead and head on over to the Google Drive in the description. I forget what episode we're on right now, but whatever the most recent one is, or whatever I have the episode labeled as, download that, and then the blueprints are also available. Anyone can use. Everything's all free for you to use if you want. You can follow along. If not, just sit back and relax and hang out while we build some stuff. My general plan today was get everything all set up and running, and then by the end we'll have everything automated and be able to turn some of them into the next phase space elevator parts. Here, let me grab stuff from these guys first. And then, so Barry, you got some concrete, not that helpful. Cable, not that helpful. Did Larry just give me cable? That's funny. Larry, the cable guy. Oh, there he is. They got out one time, and I think it was this rock right here. They hopped up over the fence, so I ended up putting a glass wall in, and I was like, oh no, you guys need to stay in here. But yeah, anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, we'll be able to get the space elevator parts turning into the next phase, which let me go ahead and turn that on so I actually know what we're looking for. There we go, now I can see it again. So we need 2,500 automated or versatile framework, sorry. We need 500 modular engines. And 100, what are those, adaptive, whatever those things are called. So we got everything that's going to be, like, once we get the space elevator parts automated, we'll have all the parts necessary for putting those together. We'll probably just feed them into like, we'll hand feed some manufacturers for now just to get that part done. And then we should pretty much be ready to get this entire phase finished. We got tier 5 all done and complete. The only thing left we have to unlock in tier 6 is the trains, which we will be making use of pretty soon. And then once we're done our space elevator parts, we can move into tier 7 and 8, where the game really begins. And by the game, I mean the most amount of work you've ever seen in your entire life. But anyway, let's go ahead and head on over to our platform up by our old little coal power plant there. We're gonna be doing some iron and steel ingots. Some iron wire. If you don't use the iron wire alternate recipe, you will have to add in some copper into this build. But I'm only going a little bit of water, some iron ore, and some coal, and we'll have everything we need. Okay, we're over here by the old coal power plant, and as you can see, we built ourselves just a long rectangular work platform to go off of. Now, I did go ahead and add in the 2 water pumps that we're going to be using for the 259 water cubic meters per minute. And then underneath this platform there is just your usual logistics floor, and then underneath we have a road that if you wanted to pass underneath the building to go through the natural road system, I didn't want to cut that off, so everything's kind of still available down here. Honestly, you never know, we might need to do some truck lines or something going through here to pass things through, so just in case I figured we'd throw that together. So yeah, 259 cubic meters of water per minute. So that means each one is set to 129.5. And then we can just pump that up. Probably, I think it's going to go up to the upper floor here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. Actually, I meant to do this last time. And then I know I said I wasn't going to, but I ended up doing it anyway. I designed a truck line to bring over the coal for this actual build because it was just a little bit too awkward to send. I mean, I guess I could have sent it over to that line here because this is where the iron's actually coming from. The pure iron node down here set to 453.77 iron ore per minute. That's why I kind of ended up doing this number and using the recipes that I did, because I can end up just using one nice Mark IV conveyor belt to bring them over. Things get a little bit complicated as we move on, but at least the inputs and everything are nice and easy. So there's our little tractor there. He's bringing up the coal to here. It unloads into this little room down here, which currently does absolutely nothing other than throw it into an awesome sink so I would know it would work. And then you got the iron ore here, and then we can get started on building. So like I said, we are going to be using some blueprints today. If you do want to use the same blueprints I have and you don't want to make them yourself, like I said, head on over to the Google Drive. You can download them and put them into your game. If not, I mean, they're pretty easy to do yourself too, if you probably even have some ready to go. So we're going to start off with the iron and steel ingots. So I need to do a few groups of refineries here, but again, it can all be fed by this like one line. I mean, these are going to go into he's going to go to a foundry with some of this iron that's coming in, but we got to smelt some of this first. So it's going to get a little bit split. Oh, actually, right. So from this, one of these groups of refineries is actually going to get mixed together with the coal from here. And then that's going to turn to steel in the foundry. So we'll put that down a little bit further. So for now, we can let me figure out what sort of groups we're looking at here. So I got 4 separate lines that are going to have to do stuff here. So there's actually going to be just one refinery all by itself, which is not going to be a blueprint. But that is going to go, we'll put that one down right off the bat, get that one out of the way. So we'll move it in a little, like we got a lot of space to work with here, so. I have turbo fuel in my jetpack right now, so I can fly really fast. Okay, so there is refinery number 1, and the reason I'm only doing one of these is because this actually has to make 66.67, which means I have to overclock this by just the literally smallest amount. It's like 2.5% increase in clock speed, so it's not really going to affect the power all that much, but yeah, that goes to a set of constructors all by itself. Okay, next refineries. So we need 2 groups that are a few refineries. One is going to be 349.38 iron ore or ingots per minute. So if we can get 65, let's just call it 350 divided by 65. So we need about 5, so we'll say 6, especially since I have a blueprint for, what I got, 4 refineries in the blueprint, I think. Let's go to blueprints. So I do have them nice and organized as well right now. So got our refineries, got our assemblers, got our constructors. These are kind of all the ones we're going to be using today. So we got 4 set here for pure iron ingots. So they're kind of already set, ready to go. And they've already got their manifold system and everything on them, which is perfect. There you go. So since I gave myself a pretty decent amount of space to work with in this building, I'm going to kind of move or gonna keep space in between everything just so I can keep it a little bit more organized. So we're gonna have this one coming in right here. Thankfully the pipe direction doesn't really matter, but the input direction kind of does. And this is where sometimes you'll end up having to like flip stuff around and everything, but it should work out well this way. Usually send everything to the right. That's usually a good way of doing things. I mean, I guess it kind of depends what end you're building. So like if I had to start building from down this end, I would probably want to flip things around. Oh no, I guess it would still, yeah, so yeah. Usually sending things down or to the right is usually your best bet. There you go. 6 refineries, because I just added the 2 back on, or 2 onto the end, just manually. So we got our Mark II pipe, manifold pipe kind of going all the way down along, and then you got Mark I pipes flowing down in. I got a Mark IV belt going down all the way down through here. That is going to have all that iron ore that you see right there. In fact, I'm going to have to, I just realized I put these ahead just a little bit, so I'm actually going to have to move this refinery to be in line with those. If I can get it to line up properly. There we go. And then that way I can just have a single manifold system running all the way down the line here. Okay, so that is our first 2 sets of refineries done. They're actually all hooked up, and they have, I mean, the iron ore goes to them. They're not actually hooked up to power yet, so nothing's actually filling up. This one on the very end, I don't know if I mentioned, 24.38 to add that to make it a total of 349.38 coming out of this line right here. And then the next line, we need 266.67. So I'm going to assume we're going to need at least 4, because 65 times 4 is 260. Okay, so yeah, we'll do a group of 4, and then instead of adding another one for that 6.67, we'll just overclock one of them by 6.67. Alright, the very last group is 160 iron ingots. That's what's going to the foundries. It'll probably end up all the way down here at this point. So we're going to go ahead and do, what would it be, 65 divided by, or sorry, it'd be 160 divided by 65. It's 2.5. So we'll do 3. So I'll just put down my 4 and then I'll just delete the one at the end. How about that? Oh, right. This one on the very end of this group of 4 that I did where I was like, hey, I'm going to overclock the one in the end. 71.67 total if you're following along. So that puts out the exact number we need there. And then now all we need is the 160. So let's go ahead and throw down another group of 4. Make sure this actually is in the right spot. Facing the right way. Okay, let's lock it there. And then we'll just do some nudging. That's about a space in between or so. Beautiful. Look at all those pure iron ingot refiner. Can I speak English today, please? Look at all those pure iron ingot refineries. So we got these ones on the end. The one on the very end is downclocked to only do 30 per minute. So that gives me exactly 160, 65, 65, 30. And then so now that is all the pure iron ingot refineries set up. I just need to hook everything up together here. So it actually goes all the way down. And then we just need to bring the water up from below. It didn't have to be a Mark II pipe. As you can see, I have a Mark II pipe all the way along here. That's just the way I built the blueprint. So if you are building this without blueprints, this can definitely just be a Mark I pipe because you're under 300 cubic meters per minute of water here. Okay, sorry to skip ahead a little bit on you guys. It just took me a minute to figure out how to connect up this pipe really cleanly. So right basically in about the middle. So you got 7 going down that side. You got, well, 7 going down that side. So I went right in the middle here. And it's make sure I wanted to go up and then down to make sure, you know, I think it creates a much better water pressure that way. So we've got a Mark II pump pushing all the water up from down below there. Comes up along the wall here, in here, up through and down into these pipes. And this should hopefully keep everything. I've set it up, or I feel like I've set it up in a pretty decent way that it should help eliminate as much backflow as possible or any backflow issues. So hopefully once we actually get this fired up and turned on to the power, which I don't know if I can show you guys in the blueprint, there's a big long metal bar that I've connected now that runs behind all the refineries, and that is going to get attached to the ceiling. So it's like I used to do it where it was like a big frame kind of built across every single blueprint. But I think this time I'm going to go more of a ceiling effect where you just kind of attach these to the ceiling at whatever height they are. So hopefully that'll work. It should. I think that was a good height. I can't remember what the height was exactly, but I think that one should work. They obviously vary depending on the machine because constructors and assemblers are smaller and everything like that. But hopefully this looks good in the end. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, now that we're done all our refineries, I'm going to go ahead and set up the foundries that I need for making these solid steel ingots. So I need exactly 4 of those. Don't have to do any no weird numbers here. So since we're taking the iron from it, it's actually this set right here, which is kind of glad. I'm glad I saved that one for the very end. So this will just get looped back around. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. I kind of just realized, I was like, man, I set up a blueprint for like everything except for the foundries. So these ones I have to do by hand. But yeah, so these are going to be the solid steel ingot. Like I said, no underclocking, no underclocking or overclocking required. We're just going to be bringing the iron ingots from right there. We're going to be bringing them over here. And then we're going to bring the coal that's coming in down underneath here. I'm going to end up probably putting it up along the ceiling, and then we'll just send it all the way down here, hop on up here, and then we'll have solid steel ingots. I think we're looking for 240 per minute. Alright, I did just go ahead and I put the 4 constructors down in front of it because I realized that's how good these numbers are in this build. So you have the 4 foundries, and those 4 foundries that all pump out the 60 steel ingots per minute, they feed into the steel beam right here. So 60 ingots per minute from each one. So they'll just say 1-to-1. So I just went ahead and put the constructors in front of them all. So that is actually technically the steel beams part of my to-do list will be done when we get there. But We got a lot of work still to do because we got a lot of iron pipes, a lot of iron wire, a lot of constructors for the iron wire. I think it's like 30 constructors-ish for the iron wire. It's going to be a lot. And there's just our simple little manifold setup for the foundries. I think I could just kind of skip ahead. We've done this a billion times now. Just your splitter lines down below. Got your line connected from over here. I'm kind of enjoying keeping everything up above. It's a lot easier to move around the machines. I mean, so I don't have to always be jumping over stuff like this. But I mean, it also kind of just looks cooler while you're running around. Having a bunch of stuff over your head to look at. It kind of makes for a neat aesthetic. The only other thing that I'm going to have to do is I'll bring that beam over here and drag some more power lines down from the ceiling for this part. But other than that, that is the iron and steel ingots technically done. I did go ahead and just put a floor hole right here, and it is perfectly right centered in the middle. And we're going to be bringing the coal over to here. So I'm going to bring it like this. And like I said, I want to keep it up above on the ceiling here. So there you go. Coal line is hooked up. Nothing's actually running over here though. But I mean, technically if we turned on all these refineries and everything right here, we would at least have all of our ingots coming out now. So all of our iron ingots and all of our steel ingots. So I will take that off our to-do list, which I feel like we're making pretty good time so far. That wasn't too bad. Definitely helps having the blueprints for sure. I don't think we'd be able to make this factory all in one go without blueprints, if I'm being honest. So, now that that's all done, we can go ahead and jump into the iron wire section of all this. Now, I believe that is going to be taking the biggest chunk of the iron. That's probably our 300 stack over here. So, I feel like it probably makes the most sense to kind of have those constructors set up right here. So, let's go ahead and figure out what sort of layout we're going to be needing for that one. Okay, this might sound a little crazy. Bear with me. I think I might put the iron wire constructors down on this floor down here. Just because I need so many, like literally almost 30 constructors. And that's going to take up, well, most of the remaining floor up here. So I don't really want to do that. I will probably have to end up adding a little bit more space anyway. Although I think there was actually no, I will keep it on this floor. I think the game plan was actually to build a floor just above the constructors here. But, because we don't need too many more constructors after this 30. I think it's like maybe 10 more after that, so. You know what I'll do? Now that I've kind of just brainstormed here with you guys, I think I'll start like, because we got to do so many constructors for the iron wire, right? We'll start those constructors first. We'll start putting down a fair group of them here. And then whatever we can't fit, we'll just add a second floor on top of that. We'll add some more constructors there. So let's start with, looks like our biggest group is going to be 400. We need 400 wire coming out of one group. So let's figure out what we got to do for that one. So each constructor currently gets me 22.5 per minute. So let's go 400 divided by 22.5, which is about 18. So that'll actually work out perfectly. How many did I put in the constructor here? 3 constructors. So 18 divided by, so that's what, 5? Sorry, 6. I don't know. That was a dumb mistake on my end. So yeah, we're gonna need 6 of these to get us started. Yeah, I really confused myself there. Sorry. So it is 3 of the sets of 3 on the bottom here. So we have 3 constructors down here. See, this is how messed up I'm getting. So we have 3 of my blueprints down here. That gives you a total of 9 constructors on the bottom. Then we're going to go up here. We're going to do the same thing up on this upper floor here. I'm going to thankfully have some overhead view. So we're going to grab our blueprints again. We're going to plop them down right here. Make sure they're facing the right way, which is that one. Then I just want to make sure it is roughly in the right spot. There we go. Much better. Okay, so now we can connect these up together. And so this would be 18. So this is 18 times 22.5. So this makes 405. So I just have to take 5 off here somewhere. We'll do that right here. Put this one on the very end. Iron wire, and we'll just take 5 off of this, which would be 17.5. Alright, apologies if I skipped anything important there, but that should be all the 400 copper or iron wire that's going to be required to send to one certain line. So I haven't actually connected the mergers together here yet, but I will in a little bit. So these also need to be connected. I went ahead and I put a splitter here on this back line here. This is where one of those things where it's like, yeah, these actually would have done better had they been going this way, like coming down this way. Because now I need to get to the line from all the way over here. This is the exit of here. I guess I could just turn around all the mergers and then send it down this way, so it'd be a little bit closer together. But I don't want to mess things up too much, so I'm gonna have to put I'm gonna send these refineries, brain dead. These refineries are gonna be hooked up into this part right here. Then this one, this lonely one, what was this going to? Oh, this lonely one goes to make some iron plates. So we can maybe actually even fit that in right here. Because I only need 400, so it looks like I need 2 constructors, 1 slightly overclocked for the iron plates. Yeah, that just seemed too straightforward not to just bang out right now. So we'll set these 2 to do iron plates. I don't know why I scrolled so far. It's literally the first one in the list. And then I want to overclock one of these to do 24.44. Just like that. Okay, so now I still need 3 more groups of constructors that make iron wire. And that is going to be getting fed from this big system here. And I kind of forgot about that one, so I got distracted by doing that one. So these ones, I'm just going to kind of add on maybe towards the end here. Or actually, maybe I could add like another floor and just make this like this front part a little bit extra tall. Actually, that'll probably work out really well. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the same thing I did here. So it was, let's figure what the foundation count was again. Okay, so it was 3 4-meter foundation, so it was 12 meters, and then I think it was a 1 meter floor on top of that. These are 1 meters, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to put our foundation here. And then so 4 up from that, or 3 up from there. It's too many. Okay, 3rd floor added. So basically what I had to do was I added a splitter here that this lift, because this lift was originally coming up to this floor and just immediately feeding in here. So I swapped it out. I put a splitter there, and now that is going to feed those 2 lines together, as well as send a little bit extra up here. So now we can do our last little bit of our iron wire build. So I need 80, 60, and 88.89. So that's going to be... Okay, and only slightly embarrassing amount of time later, I figured it out. So we got our first group of 4 here. That's going to be doing our 80. So let's go ahead and set these all to do 20, since that kind of just works out nicely. So these first 4 are all 20. And then so I left a little gap in between. I may also color code them just to help myself remember, but I did leave a little gap in between. So that there's a little bit easier way to tell. So then this group of 3 is going to be doing our 60. So we're going to set these also to do just 20. And then you're going to come down to this last group of 4 where we need to do 88.89. And right now we're making 22.5 times 4. We're making 90. So I need to take away 88.89. I need to take away 1.11. 21.39. So I'll just take this one right here. 21.39 is exactly what I want here. All right. Crazily enough, that is literally just the iron wire part of this build complete. So yeah, this is definitely where you're using a lot more constructors than if you were just using the normal wire recipe. But I think this is actually going to make the factory look a lot cooler too. So So that is technically all done off the to-do list, the iron wire now. I haven't actually hooked, obviously nothing's all hooked up to power, and I haven't actually hooked up with the full belt system yet. But I at least know this one, like this line right here, just directly connects to that splitter over there, and it'll feed this whole system. That means I can move on to this little group here, where these guys are getting fed into a group of literally just 3 constructors. That's it. That's all they get. These bad boys are making our iron pipe. And we're going to be sending a group of 30, a group of 20. I mean, literally you just have to, just the one constructor. So we'll do these down here on this floor. We'll grab, actually this works out perfectly because since I have a blueprint of 3 and I can just downclock things a little bit. We'll kind of line these up with the rest of them. Put them in like that. And then we're going to set these to do iron pipes. But this would be 70, so each one, okay, so I'm actually going to, do I load balance it? Or do I underclock and overclock? So one needs 30 and one needs 20. We're doing it. We're going to load balance. Never mind, forget load balancing. 1, I don't have the room, and 2, I think it actually, looking through my build, makes more sense. If I just do this one clock to 16.67, that's going to go off to do its own thing. So I just ended up taking the merger off the line and I turned it so it's facing out that way now. And then these two are going to combine together to make 50 per minute, and then they'll just get split. 20 will go one way, 30 will go another way. They're feeding stators and rotors, so. Okay, so I just got all my inputs and outputs hooked up now for all the iron ingots that are going to be fed into all sorts of the copper wire here. This is literally just a giant thing making a whole buttload of copper wire, of iron wire. These are making our steel pipe, or our iron pipes, I guess I should say. And then this is all just for iron wire. Just a couple floors of iron wire. 3 floors of iron wire, actually, to be exact. So we got our steel pipes, we got our pipes, our plates, and our beams also technically done. I sort of did the iron wire and the pipes, plates, and beams all at once. So now that just leaves us actually making pretty good time. Now we just need to actually get ourselves set up to add in the all the assemblers for the modular frames, the rotors, the reinforced iron plates, and then the assemblers after that for the actual space parts themselves. So I think what I'll probably end up doing is I'm going to take this floor right here, not the whole thing, but I'm going to take this floor here. I'm going to bring it all the way over. I'm going to fill basically in over top of all this. I'm going to wrap around it basically the refineries, just to give myself an upper floor section where I can add in a bunch of assemblers. So I think I'm going to start with the stators and the rotors, since those are literally like, they're both steel pipe and wire. I'm not going to build it like just all, I'll build them like 2 by 2. And I think I actually did the blueprint for the assembly. Yeah, 2 assemblers each, which is perfect. Because I think basically most of the assemblers in this build are indivisible of 2s, or I just have to add 1 in. So let's start out with 2 of these next to each other. I think I'll put them on, if I can fit them, I'm going to put them on this floor here. Because it's getting the steel pipes, and the steel pipes are literally right there. So, oh my god, I landed right in the floor. So yeah, it looks like I do have enough room to fit assemblers down in this section. So let's go ahead and flip them around. If I have enough room forwards and backwards, that is. So this will work. I'll just have to turn, I think, the bottom section, so I don't have to move all the lifts and everything. I'll turn the bottom section because it's all kind of flowing right now to the right, and I need to go that way. So actually, wait, I'll just do that. I'll just this will save me some work. I'll just turn the blueprint around. There we go. So that it's actually going the proper direction. Just make sure it all fits. I'm in a little tight squeeze here. Not too crazy, but yeah, I think this will just work better now that I have them turned this way. So now I just have to bring a belt kind of over and around. I'll probably end up putting it up above like these ones are anyway. And then, so these ones, I actually put them too close together because I was like, oh, I got all excited. They can be linked together like this, but I need to just move them a little further apart. So they're actually spaced apart properly. I get it to line up here. There we go. Just give it a little bit of room in between. So yeah, they can be one manifold line because it is just the wire and the pipes going to both. So now we're just going to go ahead and merge. Make sure I have room here. I think maybe what I'll do is I'll lift up the one merger. Or I'll lift these up and then just send it over top. Because I think I need to keep the... Yeah, I need to keep the stators. Stators have to go and mix with some cable. Oh, did I forget the cable constructors? I think I did. I forgot the cable constructors. You know the thing that this 400 wires go into? So it actually works out perfectly that I left myself some room here. So I need 7 constructors to make 200 cable here. So I'm going to grab my constructor blueprint, not my assembler blueprint. What am I doing? Blueprint? Blueprint. Constructors. I'm going to grab these. Make sure they're facing the right way. Looks like they are. So I'm going to bring these down so that they're actually in line with these. And then we're just going to shift it way over. I think that gives me enough space because I don't need crazy amount of space, but I would like a little bit. So there is 6, and then we're just going to add 1 on the very end here. Get that all hooked up, and then these will be cable. I was like, wait, what does all this wire go to? I was like, oh, right. I cut off the top of my build guide. So these are all going to be set to cable. Like I said, I need 200. So if you take 200 divided by 7, you get that number. And we don't want to do that. So we're going to just take the, what is it? Each one gives you 30. So 30 times 6 is 180. So the one on the very end will downclock to 20. Okay, so with confusing myself a little bit and forgetting about some of those constructors, I have decided I want to turn pretty much everything on just to make sure I've actually kind of got things figured out. Obviously, things are eventually going to get backed up, but I just want to make sure the system that I've currently designed is actually working. So I'm just going to fire that into there, and that should turn pretty much everybody on. It'll also help me notice like things like that where I've clearly forgotten to turn one of you on. So this needs to be same as you. Oh, it doesn't have power, that's why. Alright, everything seems good so far. We got a lot of yellow lights just because we're waiting for everything to kind of balance itself out. But I think it's kind of working properly so far. What's this guy? What's your problem? What do you not have enough of? Iron ore. So yeah, I think the line wasn't quite backed up enough as much as I thought it was to like fully pre-prepare the whole system. But it looks like we'll be kind of up and running. Everything will be fine in no time. So now that that's... Oh! Missed that. That would have hurt. So now we can go ahead and probably move, since we got our rotors and our rotors and stators are done. I didn't put stators on the list for some reason. Rotors and stators are done. Now we can do our modular frames and our reinforced iron plates. And then those will be the last 2 that we need to do before we actually get to do the smart plating, the versatile framework, and the automated wiring. So this is where we're actually going to start using more of this logistics floor down here that's basically currently an empty platform. So I'm going to have to move the iron plates from over there and bring those down over here. We're also going to have to bring that one steel pipe from right there. That's going to come over here as well. So we got the steel pipes coming over. We got the iron plates coming over. We got a little bit of wire coming over. So we're using 2 alternate recipes here. We're using stitched iron plate for the reinforced iron plate, and then we're using steeled frame for the reinforced, for the modular frame. And that uses steel pipes and reinforced iron plates to make them. So we only need a pretty small amount here, but the numbers are, that's why you got some decimal stuff going on here. So we're going to start with the stitched iron plate, because those are going to actually be going into the steeled frame recipe. And then some of those are also going to get sent over to the smart plating. Okay, so 3 assemblers, stitched iron plates. Sorry, I had to move it just over slightly, because that way I can basically just shove the 2 assemblers that I need for the modular frames. Those can just kind of go right next to them, basically right here. But I'm going to use a blueprint, so I don't have to set everything back up again. But I'm going to make sure it's facing the right way. So either way, things are going to have to go down and around. So not a big deal actually to have them all facing the right way, the same way. Let's grab our blueprint. I'll lock it in like that just for a second until I get it lined up. Does this line up? Why is this off by like a little tiny bit? No, it's not. Okay. It's just not showing that it's lining up for some reason. So there's those 2. And I need a total of 5. Oh, did I forget to unlock this recipe? Hang on. There we go. I already had it in the MAM. I just forgot to select it. So, steeled frame. So we get 3, so that means we're going to get 6. So we got to take 1 off per minute. So I'm going to make these both do 2.5. And then the stitch iron plates, I need a total of 13.33, which is, yes, very weird. But since we get 5.625 per minute from each one, I'm going to have 2 of these do... Actually, yeah, because I don't want to have to merge these and then split them apart again. Actually, I guess technically it would be easier to do it that way. So I'm going to make this line be 13.33 in total, and then it's going to send 3.33 over to those steeled frames, and the other 10 are going to go over to the smart plating. Alright, so that is the modular frames, the rotors, and the reinforced iron plates. So now I just need to get those all hooked up, all their inputs hooked up here on the back side. So a bunch of these steel beams, where do these steel beams go? These steel beams all go to assemblers making versatile frameworks. So these are all actually going to be going upstairs. So that's fine. So these are going to be coming over here. What do these need? These need iron plates and iron wire. So the iron plates, I remember now. Yeah, they're coming all the way from over on the other side. I'm going to pop that right there. That's going to feed the iron plates over. And then we'll also just have to bring the wire down. That's actually probably going to come from up above. So we'll bring that over there. Actually, I'm going to turn that once because it's not facing the right way. There we go. So that'll be the wire. Oh, I also forgot. I got to set up the rest of these. And then the modular frames get those reinforced iron plates and some steel pipes. So we're going to grab the pipes from over here. That's these pipes right here. So these are going to be going down below. Put them into a floor hole. Just realized it's a little silly to have a merger on there, so might as well just go into the floor hole. Okay, so steel pipes. That worked out really well. And that turns the location. These kind of come down and over. Where do they go exactly? Which hole do they go in? Not this one. This one, right? Yeah, this is supposed to be the steel. Let's grab... Where is it? It's all the way over here, right? So there we go. That's going to be dragging those 16.67 steel beams around up along the ceiling there. And then... just need to do the iron plates from the other side, right? Yeah. Oh no, I sent the pipes to the wrong spot. That was the iron plate spot. Where's the pipes? think the pipes were on this one. Alright, just jumping ahead a little bit. I had to take a break because I was starting to go crazy hooking these machines up and realizing belts had to go kind of all over the place. And, well, it's not messy by any means. I think one thing I actually really like about the way I laid out this factory is it feels very alive. Like there's a lot of parts moving around that you actually get to see. And then you can go to like the upper floors, you can see all the copper wire being made and everything. So there's a lot to look at. Now we have basically finished almost everything but the space parts. So we've got our modular frames here. We've got our reinforced iron plates. And then down, not this one is our stators. And then down next to that one is our rotors. So I have everything hooked up. As you can see, like we hooked up the power. I did like just a tiny little bit of decorating where I put like some rails in between. I put on some ceilings, a few walls and stuff. But mainly the biggest part is, well, I guess technically this part of the to-do list is actually done. Should have taken that off. But I did go ahead and send pretty much everything is now coming down here. So we've got our steel beams here. A splitter of the rest of my reinforced iron plates here. Like these are being used already. And we got our modular frames here. Stators come down over here. And then the rotors are over here. So now I just have to, once I've actually set up the assemblers up on the upper floor here, I can then bring those back upstairs. I'll probably just use all this extra space along the back to do some conveyor lifts. And then the only other thing I have to worry about bringing to the manufacturers is there is my line of cable here somewhere. Actually, I believe it's right here. Yeah, so here's all my cable right here. This is also going to get sent into not a manufacturer, assemblers. So let me grab my little build list here and I'll figure out how I'm going to lay these out. There shouldn't be any more underclocking or overclocking. I think everything's all 100% from here. So, all right, so we've got a group of 4 assemblers. That's going to do our automated wiring. We've got a group of 5 assemblers. That's going to do our smart plating. And we got a group of 2 assemblers. That's going to do our versatile framework. So let's go ahead and say, so the cable is going to be the one that makes the automated wiring. So that's going to be right here. So I'm going to maybe set those right here so I don't have to worry about like looping this down and around all over the place. So maybe we'll hop up on top of here, or I can put in a little watchtower thing. And then we'll grab our blueprints, our assemblers, our 2 assemblers. Make sure everything's kind of facing the right way. So I want to give myself, you know, a little bit of room here. So let's say this is going to be our group of 4. So we'll just pop those down right next to each other. There we go, 4 assemblers. I'm going to set these to do automated wiring. Like I said, everything can be at 100% here because we're looking for 10 total. So that means we're going to be moving some, we got the cable coming out of here. Let's maybe do that up onto the upper section. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's do it, let's turn this merger. There we go. So I turned that merger and it's going to hook up into this bottom line here. And then I took this splitter up top and I turned, the input was originally on this side. I put it on this side so that I can put a floor hole here. Be right in line with this, I believe. Right there. Grab our lift. Make sure it's actually going the right way. I want it to be feeding in. Just like that. Perfect. So that'll bring, now I need to figure out where that floor hole goes. Right about there. Okay, so we're going to have to put one, and we'll just bring it along the ceiling here. There we go. So we're running the line all the way down along the ceiling here. It's going to go down here into this floor hole, which goes down below, and this is going to be our stators. Let me grab the stators here. Or the stators. There's this one right here. So I'm going to try and save my floor space as much as I can. There we go. So I did a down tick of 5 from up here. Like I hooked it up and then I just counted down 5. That lined up perfectly with my stators over there. Keeps it up off the ground where I can just pass through it underneath like this. And so there we go. That'll be the stators and the cable hooked up to the automated wiring assembler. So So that part's technically done. And then eventually I'll figure out where I'm actually going to put like the chests for everything. Because I mean, a lot of these are just going to get transferred elsewhere. But I might just kind of use this whole open section right here to kind of put a whole bunch of storage chests. And we can kind of let this like bank away a whole bunch of space elevator parts for like the next phase too. And then we may not even have to crowd, like, I don't really know what the space part count is post this. I think I heard the numbers changed quite a bit, so we'll kind of see. We'll probably bank a whole bunch of them away, and then if we don't want to use them, we'll have to, like, we make like just separate factories down the line. I'll just kind of throw these into an awesome city, get some free points. Okay, so now for the 5 assemblers that are going to do the smart plating, those ones I'm going to put on the back here. I think there should still be enough room. Let me land on this, please. There we go. Okay, so our blueprints, our 2 assemblers. Make sure we still have enough room here. It's a little tight back in here. Make sure I'm not taking up too much room off the back. Actually, I can move this a little bit. There we go. Give myself a little bit more walking space in between. So I should be able to put that one there. Pop another one next to it. That's 4. And then we'll just add in the 5th one. Here we go. 5 assemblers all lined up, ready to go. I'll have to add in like an extra spot here for the power on the back. Like I said, these are all set to 100% as well. So these are all 2 per minute. That's going to give me a total of 10 smart plating per minute. Okay, so now we can pop in our last 2 assemblers here on the end. Our versatile framework. They're going to get modular frames and steel beams. Now, I think I could maybe squeeze them in right here because it's just 2, so it's literally just my 1 blueprint to put down. And then that way I can save the area I'm standing on for putting in like the storage and whatnot. Yeah, I think that'll work. It gives me enough space in behind and all around. And then we have the space up front here where I can just kind of throw everything into some storage bins. So now everything's just going to have some floor holes feeding in. And I think I might be in a little bit of trouble. No, actually I should be okay. Those ended up in some good positions, I think. Worst case scenario, I think I may have to turn these ones around so that they're coming from this side. Otherwise it might get a little clustered with everything downstairs. Oh god, that means I have to floor hole these up too. So what do these get? These were smart plating, right? So this is reinforced plating and the rotors. Actually, that's not too bad. Only thing that might get a little confusing is trying to get them past here. So I'm going to have to kind of get a little creative on how I move these around. Although I could always add a little bit more off the back if I need to move things around a little bit more. I always add in a little section off the back here and move stuff up from there. Okay, I mean, that wasn't actually that bad in terms of like logistics floor, moving things all around. I mean, it's definitely all squeezed back into this back corner because that's kind of where all the machines end up going. You kind of got just a whole bunch of free empty space going back through here. So yeah, definitely could have put like some constructors or something on this floor for sure. But I do think that is basically everything all hooked up now. We'll go back upstairs and we'll check in on everything, make sure everything's working properly. But, you know, a little bit of crossover of some things down here because, you know, I had to belt some things around, and that's what logistics floors are for, right? So you got a little bit of stuff moving around down here, but I tried to keep most of everything. Oh yeah, I did add on a little back part because everything was getting a little too tight. But like I said, I tried to keep most things like on the actual floors themselves, so that we can see as much stuff go. I think right here is probably my favorite part of the factory. We get like all the big line of refineries, got some assemblers here, and then just like multiple floors of constructors that you can go between. It's pretty cool. So, speaking of assemblers, let's go back up here to our other assemblers here that I have yet to turn on. Also, I definitely noticed in my blueprint, my assemblers, their power line between them is not connected, like right here, as you can see. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and go into the game file, or into my Google Drive, and I'll have to re-upload a new blueprint file for this one because this was it's a bit of a whoopsie. But I did plan on changing it anyway to have more assemblers available. You know, keep like a small, like a 2-1 like this, so I'll add the power, but make like a bigger one too, like groups of 4, I think is probably what you can fit in the 5x5 blueprint maker. And then, actually, I guess we can probably figure it out from here. How big is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it looks like you'd be able to get 4, because I have a little gap in between. Oh, ouch. So yeah, I'll definitely make some bigger blueprints as well, because we got some much bigger factory builds coming up. So now these are all hooked up to their inputs. They have no output yet, but I can hook them up to power, so they're actually making some products. Hook this up to the power here. Looks like I never actually set these guys. Okay, so now everyone is actually running. I actually hooked them out to power. I haven't finished all the walls and everything back yet, obviously, but that's okay. So I think now we can just go ahead and do all of our storage bins here. So we'll grab a bunch. I think 2 each for sure to start, and then we'll go from there. Maybe 3 each even. How much space we got. Yeah, I think that'll work. I did 2 storage bins, each double stacked, so 4 industrial storage bins each. And I don't think I need to put the depot on here, because these don't really need to go into the like storage drive, whatever you call it, the dimensional depot. These, like, I feel like I mainly just need to be able to come back and grab a bunch of these to be able to feed my system. So I'm not going to worry, and I don't think these can stack really that high in the industrial or in the storage either. So I'm just going to leave them this way. This way, that should show, like, once these are actually full. That's why there's nothing showing down here right now, because technically everything's going to be going up to the top. You see in the storage up here, they're just starting to build up. So we're going to let those go for a little while. But I think that is technically everything good to go. Now, the only thing we're going to have to watch out for is we're going to have to make sure everything kind of balanced. Like, now that we've got everything hooked up and running, we're going to want to make sure we actually see all of these yellow lights go away. So for now, I'm going to tentatively take, well, actually, realistically, that is done. Space parts are done. The belts are kind of running around. I'm missing, looks like rotors are kind of slowly building up here. And I don't know why those are moving so slow on a Mark IV belt. That's an interesting thing to see. But we've got everything now hooked up, ready to go. Looks like things are slowly kind of emptying out. And I need to make sure that I see all of these yellow lights turn green. But I think the factory should pretty much be balanced out at this point. Alright, I'm seeing mostly green lights all around the factory. I think there's like 1 or 2 yellow ones still just kind of a little backed up. And I'll probably just go through and I'll pull the extra stuff they have kicking around or backed up on their lines. Because all the lines are basically like completely packed full at the moment. I mean, until you get to this section, but it looks like, yeah, so there's a couple through here that need to be balanced out because there's a little bit of iron and copper wire backed up, but nothing's actually like waiting on anything. So that's good. Even these final assemblers are already running at full 100%, which is really cool. So I'm glad I kind of already kicked everything on like along the way. Otherwise, you'd probably be waiting a really long time for this whole factory to kind of balance itself out perfectly, because there's a lot of manifold systems going through here, and a lot of machines that require to be like the parts to be made in order to like advance through the system. So, but I think it turned out pretty cool. This is probably one of my favorite factories I think I've built so far. I really like I said, I really like how life-like it seems in here. Like there's so much stuff moving around. There's so much to look at. And I really like the whole like keeping things kind of up above, and you know, it's just setting everything to like be hidden away on floors down below. I really like the way this kind of looks and feels. And then I added a few like little walkways here and there so you can get around. I'll probably finish doing some decorating. So come back in like another episode or two, you'll maybe see me finish this off. I definitely like having the rails around the side here because I didn't want to close this off. I really like the feeling of it being like super open like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed what was a bit of a mess of a factory build, but I hope together in the end the episode comes together to be a nice one. I feel pretty accomplished for the fact that this basically went from just an empty platform to this whole flowing factory all in one episode. I mean, it definitely took a few hours and I drove myself so crazy I had to take a break, but we got it done. we got everything ready to go. So now we can start taking some of these space parts over to our main base. In fact, I may even actually just throw some manufacturers here for now. Well, actually, I'm going to have to bring them together with everything anyway. So the only thing that gets loaded in ready to go is going to be the versatile framework. So once I have 2,500 of those, which is going to be, 250 minutes before that's done. So what is that? About 4 hours. But totally fine to wait that long because we've got a bunch of other projects we want to work on in between before we kind of move on to the next episode. I think the next phase in the game, I should say. I think the next episode, though, we're probably going to take on a heavy modular frames factory because it seems like we're going to need a few of those going forward. And then maybe we can overhaul our basic items, delete all those little tiny factories all around and just kind of go off like one larger one, kind of like this. Especially since we have the bigger blueprints now, I think it'll be a whole lot easier. So anyway, thank you guys again for another episode. If you liked it, please leave a like and a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I'll see you guys in the next one.